Andy, I'm back. I'm sunned. I'm a little burnt, but I feel refreshed and I'm ready to go. You did a good job on Monday, Andy.
Dave, you're strongly missed. No matter how much I feel like I hit the topics, I always go back and listen to our podcast just to take in what we did, and it's never the same. It's never the same. So I thank our listeners who endured my solo ramblings. I was grateful to keep it to less than 30 minutes, not the wild 45 that I think I did last time. So glad to have you back. Glad to have you back, Dave, and I'm glad to have a new coffee mug. I don't know if you can see this morning. I've got a
What?
new coffee mug here. This is my Avatar: The Last Airbender mug. I needed a larger coffee mug because I've been putting protein in my coffee, and I was making a mess. So now I've got a nice big 20-ounce Avatar: The Last Airbender mug. Tastes good, looks good. I'm a happy guy this morning. Happy to have you back. So cheers to you.
Did you say you put protein into it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What do you put in?
So there's so I found this through social media. Somebody's working out and sharing this on the socials, and I saw it, I was like, hey, that actually looks really good. I need to try that. So I ordered this protein that's designed to be taken in coffee, so it dissolves a little bit easier, a little bit higher calorie than regular protein. Maybe not really, but it's 10 grams per scoop, 45 calories, and so you drop it in and mix it up. It's got a nice little coffee frother and stick it in there. And Dave, it's like having a delicious homemade latte with every cup, but instead of getting 10 grams of protein, no sugar, no creamer, just the protein and coffee. So I get my first cup, strong and black like I like it, and then after that it's protein infused. It was awesome. So, it keeps the hungries away, right? So I wake up, I'm hungry. As we said many times, we're recording this in the 5 o'clock hour. You and I get going to the 4 o'clock hour. So it keeps the early morning hungries away, and I get some protein in while I'm chatting with you, and I get this nice, cool new coffee mug. You can have this, listener. You too can order your Avatar: The Last Airbender coffee mug. Thank you, Jeff Bezos and Amazon, the man who saved the world during the pandemic. So I appreciate it.
Are you an Airbender animated only, or did you watch the movie too?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I love the series. My boys and I, and my wife at times as well, enjoyed the series multiple times. Enjoyed the second series. Enjoyed the Netflix acted series that came out this last year. And they actually put it out with actors. I thought that was well done. It was very true to the cartoon storyline. And I actually liked the movie that came out a few years ago. I think it was M. Night Shyamalan actually directed it, if I
Yeah.
recall. But a lot of people didn't like it. I really liked it. I thought they could have continued the series. I thought it was a lot of fun. So we're big fans here. It's a good one. That was one of our first forays into the world of anime, and we haven't looked back since, Dave. We still enjoy it thoroughly today.
Well, there you go. And M. Night has got a movie coming out this weekend with Josh Hartnett, the once heartthrob. He's out there. So it should be interesting to see how that goes, especially since Deadpool and Wolverine is killing it like it did.
Yeah.
You're seeing it this weekend, right, Andy?
We're joining the ranks of America, and we're seeing it this weekend, Dave. I talked a little bit about it, but happy to hear your takes today. Just teased it up on Friday, also teased up Doomsday, which I'm so excited about, but excited to hear your take on the movie, what you thought of it. But yeah, we're seeing it this weekend.
Well, let's wait until you see it. I want to get your
All right.
feedback.
All right. So
So, but
Monday.
Monday we can talk that, and the Robert Downey thing was awesome, I think.
Awesome.
Just you know, actually, so let's go into it a little bit, Andy, because it
All right.
was aside from the because I do want to talk about this. So not Deadpool and Wolverine, we'll hold that till Monday. But Comic-Con was this weekend, and that
Huge.
was a big, huge, huge event. And Marvel was front and center with all of their things.
Yeah.
And of course, Deadpool and Wolverine could not have been a bigger hit for them. We'll talk about the feedback that's going around about some of it and whatnot. But the big news, of course, was Robert Downey Jr. being revealed as Mr. Doom, and he's going to be in some sort of different universe and the way it's going to progress. You loved it. I loved it. Why are people just intent on ruining like some of these announcements and just like shitting on things? Is it just in their nature or what, Andy?
I think some of it is just to be contrarian and get attention, right? Because they know that everybody's excited about it. So hey, I'm going to say that I hate it just to get you fired up and get some comments and looks on my socials or article or whatever it is. I think some people are just poo-pooing on it because hey, you're recycling, Robert Downey Jr. But He's a super fun actor, did great for Marvel. We've got the multiverse, so you can do anything you want now and justify it. Like it's just whining. Like it's going to be super fun. You can have Robert Downey Jr. He should play every character in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I want to see Robert Downey Jr. play every character in Marvel. We also thought, the same idea that it'd be fun to bring in some of the old Human Torch characters as well. But that's another story for another day. I don't know why people are poo-pooing on it, Dave.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, and it goes into a little bit of the Deadpool discussion. Is like, well, like I don't understand. I don't like. Do we have unrealistic expectations? Do we think that? I mean, do you think that they're going there to try to make a bad movie? This is obviously bringing back Robert Downey Jr. One, he's probably making an assload of movie
Yeah,
money
yeah,
doing it. To come back there, but he went away. He went away from Iron Man, won himself an Oscar, played in some other roles. I think did what he probably wanted to do. Then they, back up the Brinks truck to him and say, "Here's an assload of money to play one of probably the top villains in Marvel." I mean,
yeah,
everyone knows Thanos now, but I don't think he was as big of a character as Doctor Doom was. I mean, I
yeah.
think
No,
Doctor Doom
not at all.
was so much bigger. But look how that played out. And so I think when you look back at some of these decisions that are made, like this is bringing back excitement. And I think it's going to be fascinating to see how they weave this in because it all boils to like the Avengers movie and Secret Wars later down the line. But I mean, look up what those things are, and you'll see how this kind of fits naturally. And I mean, what a better character, a person to play these type of characters than Robert Downey Jr., frankly. I think he brings a lot to it and
Yeah.
so on. So
Yeah, it'll be done smartly. It'll be fun. Everybody's got an opinion. Don't care for most of them, right? So it's unless it's you and me talking on this podcast, Dave, we can dismiss others' opinions. That's what we're allowed to do here.
okay, we're dismissing everyone's opinion. Are you watching the Dragons movie show, Andy? House of the
So we,
Dragons?
we, we started. We're ferociously behind. We'll eventually
Yeah.
catch up. Probably not to the end of next month would be my estimate.
Okay, so what's your initial reactions now, Andy?
Like it. I like it. It's good. I mean, I think the acting's good. I think the actors make the characters fun. There's a lot to like and hate in them, and I mean, look, for me, fantasy dragons, I'm in. Like it doesn't take a lot to sell me, right? It's well done. I mean, they're big productions. I think it's really good. I think the story so far is, it's complicated and messy and wild, like the Game of Thrones was, and that's what we like, right? We like the insanity of the House of Targaryen.
Yeah. So what episode are you on? How many have you gotten through? A couple?
I think we're on three. I think we didn't finish three. If I
Okay.
recall.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of ways. I'm behind this week because with the travel, the vacation, but they're wrapping that up, and I'm excited to see where that goes. But I think with all of these things, you could look at Marvel, you look at House of the Dragon, you look at even Star Wars. You have, and maybe it's the same thing we see in the political culture. You have a small segment of people who are vocal on their socials, and they're making it seem like that's what the audience reaction is. That's where that's what the popular opinion is. I mean, if you look at Deadpool, you would think if you go on the socials that it's one of the worst movies of all time, and it doesn't play out that way because I think the audience score for Deadpool, and I should have probably had this all wrapped up, but the audience score for Deadpool was in the 90s for Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
And how do you go? Um, I just don't know how you get to that part. Yeah, it's 96% audience score, 79% tomato reader, which I think that's the critics in there. But
yeah,
like I think it's these small minorities who are meant to seem like there is the only opinion that matters. The other side of it too is like I've seen this a lot on the acolyte side is now people feel like they have to come out and say they like it and show that they're wrong. Like that's just equally as annoying. Just say, "Hey, you enjoyed watching it or you didn't enjoy watching it."
yeah.
And if you're going to get all nerdy and get into the canon and this is that and why I can't believe it. I've got my sacred timeline here and this is how it's just crazy to me. And so I don't know. So fun
Money,
times.
Dave. I mean, we talked before. The Siskel and Ebert days are long gone. Like we don't need anybody to curate our movie watching for us. And I don't need your technical assessment of Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, it's not why we're going to watch it. And look, it's just, fans are going to appreciate it at one level. They're going to get some of the inside jokes and the backstories. They're going to appreciate that. Some more passive fans might not get some of the references, and that's okay too. Like, you're going to be entertained. For some, it means a lot more than that. For some, it's like you said, canon, it's continuity, take it however you want to take it. Enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. And we talked about Inside Out too. I watched it as a viewer. I enjoyed it. My wife watched it as a therapist. She enjoyed it in a different context. Like, just, did you like the movie? Enjoy the movie. It's a couple hours of your time. You turned off your brain and soaked something in. Like, you're going to be entertained. Be entertained. If it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. It's a good movie. Just enjoy it. Nobody cares about expert opinions on film or TV. It's usually garbage. Our opinion is
Just just enjoy it, Andy. Just enjoy it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna stop on that front, Andy. And I will say, like, I heard the transitions from time to time when I'm playing back and listening.
correct.
So sometimes you can hear it, sometimes you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, it's a mystery. It's the mysteries of Zoom. You never know.
I, I wonder if we should like pause when it comes up so everybody can just hear it, maybe, and that's maybe we're talking over it. I don't know. So,
Yeah,
um, Andy, are you following the Olympics at all?
yeah, Dave. Yeah, I'm an American. I'm following the Olympics.
What are you watching, Andy?
I've been watching things as they come on. I mean, I'm not sitting around watching the Olympics. You know, like, but I put it on as we were like, sitting down for the evening, or like we'll throw it up and watch for a little while. I mean, obviously, congratulations to the Olympics teams, both the women's gold, men bronze. I mean, phenomenal. We've got Kayla Ledecky out there being an unbelievable force in women's swimming. I saw what I thought was really cool. Women's rugby, like,
Yes.
wild, right? I mean, it's wild to watch these women go out there and just be like maulers, on the, like, I thought that was awesome. So that was cool to see. I always enjoy the men's water polo, but I haven't really been able to watch it, as much as I wanted to. So I've been seeing a lot of different things, and I mean, they have two exciting storylines. You've got Olympics men's soccer, Argentina versus France coming up after the stress and tension. I don't know how much you followed that coming out of the Euros and the Copa. There's a lot of bad vibes between Argentina and France. They're going to face off here in the Olympics. That's going to be an intense game. So that's super cool. By the way, a lot of British teams circulating through the United States right now playing soccer, which is really neat as well. But then also in the Olympics, the women's water polo and the Flavor Flav story has me like, I just think it's awesome. So there's just so much to love about the Olympics. We're all proud Americans, during this time, as we should be.
Yeah, so the Flavor Flav thing got a little bit of play here. What's going on there, Andy? Talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Like I am five, but I mean, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Why is Flavor Flav like? Why is that a big deal?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people saw, Snoop Dogg out there as an ambassador to the Olympics, and it's fun to see these guys that we grew up with, that were not embraced by America en masse when we were kids, and now they're like U.S. ambassadors. To me, I love it, right? I love seeing rappers and rock stars out there representing the United States of America. I think it's awesome. So everybody knows Snoop. Everybody loves Snoop. Snoop's everywhere. Flavor not as well known today, maybe as Snoop Dogg is, but a huge presence. Founding Public Enemy, him and Chuck D. Phenomenal rap band, very vocal rap band, not just vocal in the studio, but they were out there, rocking the vote and speaking on issues and touching on racial tensions. I mean, a powerful voice for us growing up. And Flavor had some rough times, had his own issues, going, but he's the father of girls. And there's an Instagram post, from one of the water polo players saying how these girls are out there trying to get to the Olympics, and some are working 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. And so Flavor pops up and he's like, "Hey, I'm a girl dad. I'm going to support U.S. women's water polo." And so he donates. I want to say, I double check, $5 million, I think, to help fund
Yeah.
the effort. And he's going to be the hype man for U.S. women's water polo, right? And so, like, just like, hey, I've got the money. You're working really hard to represent the United States of America. I know how hard it is for girls in sports today. I'm going to help you out. And so he does. And so, like, now you turn on the TV, you're looking at Paris, and here's Flavor dressed up in the red, white, and blue, being the hype man, cheering on our team, just being awesome. And it's like, it's great to see that he donated and is doing this, but it's not just him being out there because, the Olympics has to be out there. He said, hey, here's some women athletes really trying hard to do something great, to be passionate about a sport they love, and it's really hard to do it, and they're struggling to do it and meet life's requirements. I've got the means. I appreciate what it means to be a female athlete. I'm going to help you out. and he's doing it. And I mean, to me, that's awesome. Like it's an awesome story, and I love seeing him out there. I mean, he's been a fun character, from the big clocks growing up and everything else that we saw about Flavor. It's awesome to see him out there. So I've always appreciated him as a loud voice, bringing up serious issues. He was always more serious than he was depicted, as a sort of a comical hype man for Public Enemy. And I think it's awesome to see him out there now. So grateful for Flavor being out there, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it is really cool. And again, I do think that the life of an Olympian is not all this like basking in glory and like, yeah, if you're lucky to win a gold medal or even medal in any of it is, I mean, you get some benefit out of it, but it's not like you can retire
Yeah,
as a 19,
hard
20
work.
year old. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. You don't get compensated very well. It's not like you're making millions of dollars, and I think it's great to see this type of thing. I think NBC is doing a really good job. I mean, I've been turning it on at night, just watching. They have the Gold Zone thing in the morning, which is like a take off the red zone. They even got Steve Hansen doing it. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of just really neat coverage that's going on. Obviously, with the time difference, it does make a little bit of a challenge on watching live events, but I do just love watching some of these things, even when I know the outcome. Andy, speaking of outcomes and such, you mentioned rugby earlier. I would encourage everyone to go watch how U.S. women's won bronze,
Yeah.
and they won it on like a Hail Mary type of play, Andy, like a run the field as time expired event. And I don't know a thing about rugby, Andy, but this was pretty cool to see. And what a way to get a bronze medal, Andy. So,
I mean, what's so exciting about this, especially 7-on-7s, like it's so fast paced, so aggressive, constant scoring, right? And you have these like constant breakaway plays, right? I mean, you'll see the girls or the guys are rumbling around trying to get the ball, trying to get possession, and then somebody picks it up and just breaks, and you see this like mad dash dive into the, I think it's called an end zone, dive into the dive into the end zone, dive into the goal. It's just wild, and it's like super intense for bursts, and then it's over, and it's like that was great. Like it's highly entertaining, very aggressive, and you get plays like you did. I mean, hats off to the women. Right? I mean, it's great to see.
yeah, yeah, it's fun. And again, these lesser sports are these not ones, anytime a medal is on the line, it's always exciting.
Yeah.
And I gotta give it a lot of credit there on that front. So good stuff on there. Andy, keep watching the Olympics. There's a lot of I'm loving the swimming right now. So I always love those ones. I love the swimming sprints, but you mentioned Katie Ledecky. She's got a lot of work ahead of her. She does those big ones. Andy, let's pause. I want to hear if the music catches.
Beautiful.
So, I'm gonna see if maybe we have to pause for the music as we go there. So, okay, Andy, a couple grab bag things here. We'll probably not focus too much on any one of those, but are you tracking any of the politics stuff as we've been going these last couple weeks?
Is there something
Um,
cooking in politics, Dave? I didn't know. Is there something?
yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, I kind of think it's been a little tame. I don't know what you think about it, but Trump seems quiet, and maybe I'm missing it, but he seems quiet. I mean, he made a pretty profound statement a couple days ago about Christians, you'll never have to vote again if I'm elected. Not sure what that means. I don't even think he's been able to answer that question. But JD Vance has been under the microscope. We've heard about his cat lady comments and so on. So, but I haven't seen like a really consistent attack against Kamala Harris yet. And I mean they're trying to make her a leftist, they're trying to make her really extreme, but it's been hard. I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything that's really stuck, and I don't know if it's the momentum about her and the excitement around her, and if it's going to fade in like 2 weeks. But I mean, eventually she's going to have to get out there and start really fronting a lot of her policy positions. But I think it's been hard really to tie her down on anything. What's your thoughts been on these last couple weeks of politics?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I mean, lots of thoughts. There's been a lot going on, as you alluded to. It has been different, though. I think the GOP momentum of the attempted assassination on Donald Trump, which, just to be clear again, we completely condemn, right? and the convention and the vice presidential announcement, like there was a lot of momentum. And then with Joe Biden's announcement, kind of hit a reset and sucked the wind out of the room for a little bit and sort of pulled some of that momentum back. And while a lot of Democrats and Americans weren't necessarily enthused about Kamala Harris, so far the campaign is on fire, right? And she hasn't made any big mistakes, and there's a lot of enthusiasm. You're seeing, I mean, unbelievable fundraising and effective messaging from the Democrats, and no really effective response to Republicans who are sort of dealing with the whole "is JD Vance a mistake" challenge, right? And the guy keeps setting himself up, and the Harris campaign keeps on highlighting some of his goofy statements and comments and awkwardness. You know, the whole weird messaging from the left, right? That JD Vance and Donald Trump are just weird. Like it's really hard to respond to. Like then you're stuck explaining, "Hey, no, I'm not weird." Like it's tricky. So far, a lot of enthusiasm, momentum, fundraising, excitement, and positive messaging coming from the Harris campaign. And I think Trump Vance is kind of looking and figuring out like how do we come at this without being perceived as some of the fans, some of their supporters are being perceived as in their comments as sexist or racist, and there has been some of that. But how does the campaign respond to that without appearing that way? I think they're trying to figure out the reset here, and for the Harris campaign, you know, one, they're going to make a vice presidential announcement pretty soon. That's going to be a huge boost. They're going to go to the convention. That's going to be a huge boost. So it's interesting. You know, there have been articles, has a Trump campaign peaked too early? We'll see. There's a lot to play out. But in this moment, I mean, the energy is with the Harris campaign, and it's she can either keep that up or lose it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna be fascinated to watch this next couple of weeks because again, I mean, some people are arguing that hey, Harris had the same type of momentum when she first started running the primaries in 20, what was it, 2016, I guess, or 2020,
2020.
actually 2020, 2019, but she never made it to an actual primary or caucus in that year. And so because she quickly ran out of money and she quickly had a bad campaign. That's well documented or whatever. So I will be fascinated to see how this plays out. I want to go back to this Trump not speaking or his comment about you won't telling Christians you won't have to vote anymore in 4 years. And when he was kind of pressed on this by a Fox News host, and he didn't really clarify anything. He said basically that statement is very simple. I said, vote for me. You're not going to have to do it ever again. It's true because we have to get the vote out. Christians are not known as a big voting group. I'm not sure what that means. But this time, vote. I'll straighten out the country. You won't have to vote anymore. I won't need your vote. You can go back to not voting. And then when pressed on it, a little bit more, he just I don't know. He just kept kind of waffling around here. Maybe it's early dementia, Andy, like the things we talk about, but I'm not sure Christians don't vote. I don't know where he's getting his data points on that. I think it's a scare tactic to say, look, if you don't vote for me, then the country's going to continue to go to hell in a handbasket or whatever. Somehow implying that some other things are going to occur. But this just seems weird, Andy.
It is, and you know, I mean, he's so full of crap. It just entertains me, right? One, if you can go back and listen to his speech, right? It's just such like miserable pandering. Like it pains me that the church consumes it like and asks for seconds. Like I mean, he's talking. You can look this up and you know listeners can check it out if they haven't seen it themselves. He's like, you know, I love you Christians. I'm a Christian too. And it's like you're just watching like, oh, like
Good voice, Andy. Good
thank you.
voice.
Thank you. But he's like, please, it was like, please stop. Right. And then he's like, look, and he says, you know, you have to vote one more time and you don't have to do it again. We'll fix everything. It's just kind of hanging out. And you're like, wait, what on earth do you mean by that? Like, what do you like? Please clarify. So he goes on Fox News, Laura Ingraham, right? Pretty safe, like friendly
Yeah.
opportunity. She's like, hey, like people are concerned that you kind of left this dangling out there. Clarify. Like, what did you mean? Like the left is saying that you want to be a dictator, so you vote one more time, Trump's in office, and you never have to worry about it again. like, hey, here's a chance in a friendly environment, clarify. And he wouldn't clarify. He wouldn't just say, no, obviously I'm not going to be a dictator. You're going to vote for somebody else in 2020. Like he wouldn't just come out and like say anything. He just leaves it dangling, and just, hey, just vote for me one more time. We're going to fix everything. It's like what on earth do you mean? Like why leave the illusion to dictatorship out there? Like why would you not seize that opportunity? And that's what has people concerned. It's like just say it, end the speculation, and the concern people have. Be direct, but he isn't. He refuses to do that. And I don't know if it's he's mentally incapable, like he doesn't understand it, or he refuses to, or that he wants to be king, right? That's the concern, is that he won't say, "Hey, I'm going to respect the outcome of the election." He won't concede an election. He's leaving illusions out there to consuming the presidency perennially. It's like why do that? So again, not the right message at a time when your campaign is now on its heels a little bit. Like go out there and have a positive message. Dave, time has ran away from us. I'm going to stop because I'm getting excited here. But yeah, it's oof, God bless. God bless.
Yeah, the interesting part is you hit on all the right things. I think Andy, I think their campaign is reeling. I think they haven't had the news cycle in a couple cycles now. Ever since the assassination, that quickly went away.
Yeah.
Even with the convention, his speech wasn't very good. I mean, it was a long 90-minute speech where a lot of things went sideways at the end of that speech, and then you had the Kamala news, and I think from that point on, he's kind of been like struggling. He's really been struggling, and I think this is going to be, again, we mentioned it a couple like last week, is there is now a very clear vision. We have a young, youthful candidate versus now the very distinct candidate. You can't run against Trump versus Biden's record in political office, because I think it did favor Trump. A lot of people, again, because recency bias, you're going to think that, inflation's high, gas prices are high, food prices are high. I hate Biden. I'm going to vote for the other guy, even if he did suck. Kamala actually can give that offer a different view. So it'll be fascinating to see all this play out with the Democratic convention. Look, she needs to announce a vice presidential candidate, and I think that's going to be the next thing. She's going to win that cycle because focus is going to be on her, or that individual again. So good times, Andy, and good
Hey,
podcast.
just worth saying that, because we're gonna hear that announcement soon, maybe for the next podcast, maybe. Like, it's gonna be a win. Like whoever she announces, like the folks that she's looking at, like it's gonna be a positive. Whoever it is, it's gonna be exciting for people. The folks she's looking at are all viable, and they're all stark contrast to Trump's selection. So it's gonna be another boost for that campaign, whether that person is actually great or not. It's gonna be a win. And so
Yeah.
let me see how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So, all right, Andy, good podcast today. That was good. So,
Good,
and
good to be
Andy,
back.
before the next podcast too, we got NFL football, the Hall of Fame game.
It's
I got a good,
it's here.
I got a good Chicago Bears story to tell you. I'll tell you that on Monday. Or I'm sorry, I'll tell you that Friday. I'll be interested to see. When we were in St. Augustine, we happened to bump into somebody, but it was fun. So I'll share that story with you, Andy, on Friday. And with that, I'll catch up with you next time, Andy. Good to see you.